Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Kara and today is day 17 of Frizzmas. I have a great collab video coming. So if you want to see my top 10 indie palettes of 2020, keep on watching this video. Don't forget to let me know what you think about my choices. Let me know, are there any indie brands you want to try or have tried that you really love? And definitely consider subscribing and joining the community because I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. Okay, so first, this video is a collaboration with the amazing Betsy GOTCHER. She asked me to do this video with her and I'm just so thrilled that she asked me to do this. Now, Betsy, like when it comes to makeup, I mean, she's got it all. She's got it all. She has such an amazing collection. And you know, we just recently found each other in the past couple of months, but Betsy, I truly enjoy your videos. I enjoy all of the brands that you are showcasing because there are so many that I haven't heard about. You are definitely part of the reason why I have gone down this indie rabbit hole that I'm in, and I am just loving your channel and learning from you. Betsy also has another YouTube channel for her daytime job with all of her creations, and that's amazing too. She's just great to watch and I just enjoy her so much. So make sure that when you are finished watching this video that you go check Betsy out. I am linking her channel somewhere here or here, and yeah, see what she picked. Now she has way more indie brands than I do. So the way I'm gonna go about this is I have some mainstream indie stuff that I've gotten earlier in the year, and then you're gonna kind of see as I go along, and I'm not ranking these, but as I go along, you're gonna see some more indie brands, I can say, I don't know. Cause there's like mainstream indie and then there's like indie. You know what I'm saying? And I have a lot more indie stuff on the way, but a lot of it's stuck in transit, but I'm gonna have a lot more for y'all. So I'm so excited about this journey, okay? And like I said, these are not being ranked. They're not in order from release date or anything like that. The only thing that's in order is that I'm starting with, like, you know, the more mainstream brands. So I'm gonna first start with the Juvia's Place Wahala 2 palette. Juvia's Place is like, I don't know, I think everybody does now understand how amazing this brand is and how wonderful their eyeshadows are. So I did not get the original or Wahala 1 palette, but when this one rolled around, I wasn't gonna get this either. But then I heard about the duochromes and saw so many great reviews. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and grab this up. And this is an amazing palette. So we have this duochrome shade here, Fake, and you can see that here it's kind of that green pink shift. And then there's another one, this shade Money. This is another duochrome here. It actually flips from like a teal or turquoise to a purple, and it's just a gorgeous palette. I know it's kind of heavy with the blues, but you can actually achieve some neutral looks from this palette. The quality is amazing. The mattes are great. The shimmers are great. And you know what? For once, I'm not really mad about the pressed glitters that are in here because they're very wet and they're not all over the place. Now, I haven't used them yet, but when you feel those pressed glitters, I'm not gonna do it now just because I'm gonna be swatching some other stuff. I'm not trying to get glitter, you know. But they actually are wet, and I really think I would consider using these pressed glitters. So yeah, number one, I'm gonna say the Wahala 2, great palette, happy to have it, and I know I will be using this palette a lot more. Next, another palette I've mentioned on my channel several times is the Escape Pod, and this is by Kaledos. I'm assuming Kaledos is an indie brand, but I have mentioned this palette. I have showed it many times on my channel. I think this is an amazing palette. I'm not gonna go into a whole lot of detail because I have talked about this a lot, but this color story, there's something for everyone in here that loves color. Their shadows always perform great. The shimmers are amazing. Their makeup really is kind of like out of this world, you know what I mean? It just reminds me of, you know, space age, futuristic, and that's just the vibe I get from this brand. This was my first palette by Kaleidos and my only palette until actually last week, because I got 2 of the futurism ones, and I'll link that video up if you want to see about those. But I don't know, this is like a birthday party and a palette. I did an eyeshadow tag and one of the questions was like, a palette you would wear to a party. This is it. This is it. This is a birthday party and a palette. That's exactly what this is. So yeah, make your escape, the Escape Pod. Definitely a beautiful palette. Definitely one of my favorites of the year, and happy to have this as well. All right, so that's number 2. I have a lot of stuff sitting here on my bed and I'm just trying to, you know, really keep track. And I don't know if Kaledos is mainstream, but you know, I feel like a lot of people have heard of Kaledos. That's why I'm kind of putting it at the beginning of this list. So number 3, Tiny Marvels by Sydney Grace. This palette is amazing. I think this palette has probably been on every eyeshadow ranking video I've had, or every palette ranking video. I think this is such a good palette. I love the large pan sizes. I feel like Mel Thompson really did a good job with the color selection and the variety of looks that you can make from this palette. Some favorites from this palette: the shade Fire Butts. I've probably mentioned this one before. Beautiful shade. You've got Scarab, this duochrome shade that a lot of brands are doing right now. And this is one of Sydney Grace's older shades. Meadowhawk is another beautiful shade. I mean, this is just an all-around amazing palette. I'm so happy to have this. This was my very first exposure to Sydney Grace, and I'm glad it was with this palette. And since then, my Sydney Grace collection has grown. I have Enduring Love, and I have a ton of their eyeshadow singles and more coming. Yes, this has to be on the list. All right, number 4, because we're talking about mainstream, there's a tie. So I know this is gonna be kind of cheating, but let me explain why. This was gonna be number 4, and this is She's in Parties by Melt Cosmetics. Now, this palette took me by surprise. It really did, because I had no interest in getting it at all. But then I saw so many amazing reviews of this palette and the performance, and I just decided to go ahead and get it. Melt kind of has inconsistencies with their eyeshadow formula, apparently, and I want to say the first palette I bought by Melt was the Rust one, which is amazing. It is amazing. But I think I didn't really realize how much I like these deep shades. I love these deep purples. I love the range of light to dark. And yeah, this palette really took me by surprise. I know it may not look exciting, but this was just a really, really good palette. So this was my original number 4, but I'm sure y'all know what Melt palettes knocked that out of my ranking, and I'm just including this as one. The Beetle Juice palettes. I don't know what else to say about these palettes because I've been talking about them a lot recently on here, so I'm not gonna, you know, go into it too much, but the uniqueness of these palettes is just, I'm just still not over it. And I might be being a bit dramatic. I'm gonna tell you, this shade right here, Neurotic, I don't know, it's like a lime green in a grungy way. I don't have that shade in anything else that I can think of right now. I just feel like it was so unique. So I have to put this on my palette ranking along with the Waiting Room. So like I said, I'm trying not to cheat, y'all, but because I'm considering these as one, but it has to be tied with Melt She's in Parties. And I just wanted to mention She's in Parties because I've had it so much longer than these Beetle Juice palettes. But I mean, these color stories are just so unique to me. And I know they might not look like anything special, but they really are to me. So that's gonna be my ranking for number 4. I'm sorry, I just had to mention. So now we're gonna start getting into some more indie brands you may or may not have heard of. So let's go to number 5. Now number 5 is gonna be by Copacetic Cosmetics, and this is the companion palette. And I have been trying to get my hands on this for a minute, but it was sold out. And finally she restocked some and I was able to get this. The shipping took a really, really long time. It probably took almost a month. This palette is designed to be a companion to other palettes. So there are no mattes in this palette. One of the things that is very unique about this palette is some of the shades are what are considered to be flakies. I, am new to using that texture, but I mean, basically you need to kind of warm the shadows up on your finger because otherwise they're gonna look like this. But once you warm them up, and it is a flaky texture, so like a swatch is not gonna really do it justice. But once you warm these shadows up and spread them out on your lid, it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I think this palette is so beautiful and it's so different. It's just, I don't know, I just think it's really unique. Like, look at this shade. This shade is so pretty. Yeah, this is just unique to my collection. Like I said, it's sold out a few times and I was able to get my hands on it and I was really happy. So I'm happy to have this in my collection by Copacetic Cosmetics. I do believe that it is now available for pre-order, and this palette was inspired by companions, the dogs. On the back it says dedicated to the best companions, Megan from 1994 to 2020 and Nina from 2012 to 2020. I don't think I mentioned it, but this is a collaboration between Copacetic and M Jones 5018. That's her IG, and I'm guessing it's dedicated to her ultimate companions. So I think it's a great idea. The names of the companions are all on the back. So I just think that's so cute. Like one name for each shade. So I love it. So next, number 6 is gonna be the Glam Light Ice Cream Dream Palette. This was my first experience with Glam Light and it was awesome. This is a beautiful palette. It is pastel, it's vibrant, it's colorful, it's neutral, it's everything all in one. I think that this palette performs really, really well. I don't have a lot of pastels in my collection and these are awesome. I know some people are not super happy about the food theme, but if you can get past it, I think Glam Light has a pretty good eyeshadow formula. And like I said, this was my first experience with them and I do have some more Glam Light coming. I have the Foodie Box, the holiday one coming, as well as the Chocolate Factory one. So I'm just looking forward to more by Glam Light. If you don't like that big obnoxious ice cream truck, this palette is very compact itself and easy to store, so you can always recycle this if you don't want it. But this was definitely one of my favorite purchases of late, when it comes to independent brands. Yeah, I watched someone reviewing this in the middle of the night and I was like, wow, like this looks amazing. So I'm so happy to have this Ice Cream Dream palette. So that's number 6. Okay, so number 7. Number 7 isn't a palette. Now, some of the indie brands that I've been checking out don't have eyeshadow palettes, but they release collections of eyeshadow singles. So this collection is by Looxi Beauty, and this is the Butterfly Kisses collection, and it is comprised of 10 shades. Now, what I love about these shades is that they are like duochrome, but they have a very sparkly and more sheer texture. And they look really great when you put them over different colored bases. It really allows like the shadows to kind of be manipulated just because they are sheer. So you can really use them as toppers. You can use them just plain on your lid, or you can just change up the base and really manipulate the way the eyeshadow looks on your lid. So let me show you what I mean by the sparkly texture or the sparkly finish. Maybe you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna swatch a few of the shades so you can kind of see. So here are 3 of the shades. So I don't want you to think that they're not pigmented. They're very smooth and they're beautiful, but they're super sparkly. But like I said, the sheerness really allows you to manipulate them a lot more. And I really can appreciate that about the shadows in this brand. Let me swatch the green one so you see that too. So I think these are amazing. And I think that the Looxi Beauty price point is insane because these shadows are $3 a piece, and when they had their Black Friday sale they were like $2.50, and I think that's crazy for the quality of the shades that you're getting. Now if you want something that's gonna be like a punch of pigment, you may not be as fond, but for me it's like I like having the variety of textures because I want to have different things in my collection. Here's another one I just want to swatch. I want to have different eyeshadow textures in my collection. I feel like this texture is very unique and I don't have anything like this. So I had to add this for my top 10 because I do kind of consider this a palette, because it's a whole collection. Yeah, I definitely wanted to mention Looxi Beauty. Really excited about trying more from them. I can't believe I passed on the Black Friday because I had a whole cart and I was like, I just have to stop ordering these eyeshadow singles because it's starting to become like an addiction. So I was like, I gotta chill. So continuing on with that theme of eyeshadow collections, I have to mention my Aurorae Flares by Devinah Cosmetics. These are it right here. This was my first purchase from Devinah Cosmetics. Now, these have been sold out for some time, and when my friend Rupi told me they were back in stock, I went and grabbed all 6 of them. There is a new shade that was added, and I will be getting that one in January. I have never felt eyeshadow that has a texture like this. It literally feels like silk. It makes every other eyeshadow that you swatch be like, you know what I mean? Like, this is gonna make me really picky about duochromes that I purchase in the future just because of how soft they feel. I was saying in one of my other videos that, you know, putting the makeup on is an experience. And so when you're swiping these shadows on and how smooth they are and swatching them, it's just, I don't understand how this formula feels the way it does. I don't. But it's so, like, the swatches are just so smooth. They are so smooth. And I just love the shifts in these Auroras. I do have a video, a couple videos on this collection, so I will link them. But I'm so excited to be adding to my Devinah Cosmetics collection. I believe that my Black Friday purchases will arrive any day, so I am hoping to have more for you from this brand. But I absolutely adore these shades right here. I do. Okay, so 2 more to go. So number 9 is gonna be my Vintage Rose palette by Give Me Glow Cosmetics. Now, I know, y'all see what happened when I got the Vivid Rose palette. This palette, Mel Thompson had mentioned in one of her videos, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I mean, just look at it. And I really wanted to have it. Now, the eyeshadow formula is not my favorite, it's not. But the looks that you can make with this palette are beautiful, they are. I love this color story so much. This is really what I would have wanted Pat McGrath to do, like with her either Divine Rose 2 or Rose Decadence palette. I really felt like it needed a green. I also love that this palette has the red in it too. Like I said, the mattes don't feel, you know, they feel rough. They work okay. I don't like how they feel when I'm putting them on. The shimmers are okay though. This one, Copper Rose, is so pretty. The shimmers can be a little flaky, so, you know, just make sure you either wet your brush or, you know, go light. Like, don't be real heavy-handed digging in because they may flake up a little bit. Thorn is such a pretty shade too. This, I don't know, kind of a burnt gold olive color. Bouquet is another really, really beautiful shade in this palette. But I really feel like this color story is such a great story for a rose theme. I love how big the pan sizes are. It's just a beautiful palette. It really is. So I am looking forward to getting my Vivid Rose. I just did a video showcasing the Christmas Morning palette. And like I said, I think the looks, the final looks that I came out with from this palette in Christmas Morning looked awesome. They looked awesome. So I'm not certain how often I'm gonna purchase from Give Me Glow, but if they come out with a color story that I really like, I would consider buying more from them. I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy a lot more of their singles, maybe some of the shimmers, but definitely not the mattes. They're just not my favorite. In the palette, you know, I can work with it. So that's number 9. And number 10 is what I have on my eyes. And let me just, can we appreciate this eye look, okay? And this eye look, this is a first impression eye look. Like, I just threw this eye look together and it was like nothing. It was like nothing. This is the Holiday palette by Alien Cosmetics. It is, I believe it's called the Gem Casket. First of all, let's look at the palette, because this is slightly reminiscent, to Muerte. Y'all know I'm still lusting after that palette, especially after Melt had it up last week and people bought more than one and I didn't know, and I had been on their website, but I digress. This is a beautiful palette. I am gonna do a review on this. This is my first experience with Alien Cosmetics. I also have the Fairy Frolic palette, and I have not touched it yet. And I have Serendipity coming soon, as well as one of their other palettes. I think it's called like Soft Serve or something like that. It's blue and brown, it's beautiful. Look at the artwork on the front of this. The artwork is so unique. I feel like the brand is very unique. It's kind of like gothy a little bit. And it's like space goth. Yeah, it's like space goth. And I love it. I love it. Like, y'all, this shade right here, I don't even know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a full video on this because I almost want to just swatch every shade. But I am so happy to have this palette. I think it was $45. It was totally worth every penny, every penny. And I'm in love with this eye look. This is like, I was gonna say this is one of the best eye looks I've ever created. That's really how I feel right now about this palette and this eye look. So this is my number 10. This is the most recent palette that I've purchased. And I think this is one of the more out there brands that I've tried. That's why I had this last. But you will definitely see more from this palette and everything else I've ordered from Alien Cosmetics. So that's my number 10, you guys. So those are my top 10 indie brand eyeshadow palettes of 2020. I am so looking forward to trying more indie brands in my low buy 2021 year. Definitely trying to be more choosy and picky, but really want to get into these indie brands because they deserve the attention. They really deserve the attention because these indie brands, to me, are outperforming some of these high-end luxury mainstream brands for sure. So definitely expect that from my channel in the upcoming months for sure, because I'm waiting on a lot of shipments to come in. Now, I don't want to say a lot. I'm waiting on a few shipments with a lot of stuff. All right, y'all, so that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for taking out some of your time and giving it to me on this 17th day of Frizzmas. We are going strong until December 24th. Please now head right over to Betsy GOTCHER's channel and check her out. That's where I'm going. I cannot wait to see what she is choosing because I'm probably gonna end up ordering something or hearing about a brand that I haven't heard of before when I see her top 10 palettes. All right, guys, make sure that you are being gentle with yourself, talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Bye.